is this, Halloween? Hang on. This is going to be a real roller coaster ride.
Hello and welcome back to Intriguing Whimsy. Today we peer through the veil to take a look at the mysterious, macabre exploitations of our realm. I offer you my perspective and encourage you to research these possibilities and make your own conclusions. We have a new support button down below in the links. I appreciate all of your support and your comments. Let's hop in. Italian professor Giordano Aldini, the actual first Dr. Frankenstein. Ever heard of the galvanic skin response? This is how he tested it. He procured corpses and reanimated them. All their limbs seemed to twitch. Their mouths would pop ajar. The man that procured the body for this experiment actually died of shock after witnessing the corpse reanimate. This is where Mary Shelley got her stories for penning the novel. She actually was quoted in saying that she had witnessed a waking nightmare of a man's corpse reanimating that haunted her the rest of her days.
Looks like a rocky road ahead, guys.
Mississippi zombie outbreak. Once upon a time, 1863 was the pivotal year of the American Civil War. The Union Army, sensing victory, tried to deal a knockout blow to the Confederacy by taking control of the Mississippi River. After New Orleans fell to the Union, the city of Vicksburg remained as the last Confederate holdout on the Big River. On May 18, 1863, 3,200 Union troops arrived off the coast of Vicksburg and demanded an immediate surrender, but Confederate leaders refused, and the Union laid siege to the city. A month of heavy bombardment ensued. On June 17th, residents spotted the first zombie. Within days, dozens were wandering about. The development hardly worried the 30,000 Confederate troops protecting the city. They entertained themselves by conducting target practice on the zombies. But with their supply lines cut off, the Confederate troops soon ran out of ammunition, and the zombies kept coming. To this day, Southerners claim that the Union let the zombie plague continue out of pure malice. In any case, when Union forces entered the city on July 3rd, hundreds of zombies were roaming the streets, many in Confederate Army uniforms. The Union soldiers had to do killing, and they quickly found out that the zombie, unlike soldiers, do not surrender. In the end, an estimated 2,000 people were infected and destroyed at Vicksburg, almost as many as were killed in the Battle of the Bull Run. Also stated that General Custer at this time started wearing his red sash, a red sash that he claimed from one of the zombies that he killed. After that, the rest of his brigade decided to wear the same red sash. And at the end, there was upwards of 1,800 unmarked graves at Vicksburg. At the beginning of the 1890s, Hawaii found itself in a tug-of-war between the native islanders, who wanted the island to remain independent, and powerful sugar growers who wanted to join the United States. Queen Lili Uokalani ascended to the throne in 1891 and promptly enacted a series of measures designed to weaken the influence of the sugar growers. However, her mind was soon occupied by different matters. In August of 1892, a zombie plague had begun among Chinese laborers in the sugarcane fields of Oahu and spread to Honolulu. Wave after wave of zombies came staggering out of the jungle, forcing desperate islanders to board outrigger canoes and flee to the neighboring islands. Despite her fear of losing independence, the Queen had no choice but to ask the United States for help. A detachment of U.S. troops arrived in the fall and quickly wrestled control of the city from the zombies, but the surrounding countryside provided more difficult to clear, and more U.S. soldiers were called in. In this time, they first began by using the zombies for target practice, similar to the other actions in Vicksburg. But they almost ran out of ammunition, so they had to take drastic measures, and they realized that they needed to eradicate all of the zombies because the island was becoming overran. The sugar growers took advantage of the chaos and panic by launching a coup, and the Queen was disposed. Hawaii was annexed by the United States in 1898, but they did not become the 50th state on the United States until August 21st, 1959. There has been long suspicion that the sugar growers let the plague go in order to destabilize the Queen, a suspicion strengthened by the fact that the top growers left Hawaii as soon as the outbreak began, and some of them directly before. Whatever the case, Hawaii's 1892 outbreak killed just under 2,000 people, making it the third worst in the U.S. history.
Hang on. This is going to be a real roller coaster ride.
What's the matter, Space Ghost?
Not what's the matter, what's the anti-matter? Dr. Contra's loose. I've got to stop him.
Yeah, no way, right? But a lot of the time it is the celebrities, because how it started 30 years ago, okay, it was all politicians. It was Elizabeth collecting politicians from around the world to be in her thing, right? And she already had them all. She's been collecting them for a long time. I don't know when they started with cloning, but it was like just after World War II or something, they had it down. And I think Hitler was working on it. The Germans, I mean, the Russians were working on it. The Chinese people were working on it and everything. And then they figured it out. And
You fight back. You fight.
Well, I kept quiet for a while because they told me that they could clone me after death and torture me into the next century. And I didn't want that to happen. I wanted to be friends with them, and so that didn't happen, because that's fate worse than death, right? So, but then I found out you can't clone after death in this method. You still need the REM from the main person that's your anchor on Earth. It's how it's done. I don't know how they do it if they have to have an implant in you, but they showed me how it's done when I pretended to be friends with them for a year. I really convincingly. A green light comes on a machine on a table right next to the body, and they have racks underneath the forearm place, 5 high, 5, 6 high, and they just lay them in there like fucking vampires. It's disgusting. They lay there. If they don't even breathe, you think that they'd rot, be dead and rot. They don't. I don't know how it's done. They got it so nailed down.
They run them through these things called MK Ultra scenarios. They can put a chip in the clone's head, and they can implant sound, like visualizations, better than computer graphics and everything. Your own brain will extrapolate the missing pieces of these scenarios scenarios and stuff. They make people think that they're secret agents and they're on a mission, all kinds of stuff. They run people around.
The reptilians are no secret. I mean, a lot of people shapeshift into reptiles.
MK Ultra is done by them totally. Now you need a clone of someone to be able to manipulate them with MK Ultra. People don't know that. And people, they know that there's reptilians, but they don't know the skinny on reptilians. They don't know about the proboscis that sticks in your eye and stuff, and the Eye of Horus symbol with the Egyptians and stuff, with the squiggly sticking in the eye and everything. They don't know what that's all about. And the Illuminati symbol with the eye on the pyramid, that's all about lizards and stuff. And they don't know that either. Like, I've looked for people that knew anything else about lizards, and like the closest thing is David Icke saying that they're multi-dimensional, but that's just what they tell people when they're at the cloning center. They say they're at the 5th dimension and stuff. Anyway, what they do with you, it doesn't take much to get a clone of you, and they can keep your memory repressed about certain things and allow you to remember certain other things. Now what they can do, they bring you there, and they put a chip into the clone's head, and they can make you see stuff. Like, they made Princess Di see them shape-shifting into lizards too. Like, I've seen people morph into like 8 or 9 feet tall people when they're really just 6 feet tall. And when you're sitting there watching them at the cloning station, you don't see anything, but they see what they're seeing. Like, it gets sent right through the chip into their head. They can do it with sound too, make you hear stuff. But yeah,
To control people. But you don't know everything that MK does. There's other applications, man. Like, there's a video audio thing that goes along with it. It's called mind voice. Some people call it artificial telepathy. I heard about this when I was a kid, and I was like, that's not possible to do. You see, I'll tell you about it, and you're lucky to know. Just because no one's going to tell you. Like, you can read about it on the net. They disclosed it, and people are like, oh yeah, sure, they have this, right? People think they have to put suction cups all over the head. No. When you're a clone there, though, they can just put a chip right in your head, and in the clone's head, and read it like that. Listen, I'll tell you what the artificial telepathy does. Most people think in their own head, formulate things in their own voice, in their head. And they think that sound in their own head. A lot of people do, most people do. Now, they have a technology which allows them to eavesdrop and listen in on that. It's a deviation from MK, right? And then there's the control MK stuff with the trigger words and stuff. That's a different, like, spin-off side of it. There's different applications because the NSA can eavesdrop in on you that hard. It's not just cell phones, man. It's terrible. You can't even think. Like, and then there's visuals. The visual thing is harder to explain, but the audio thing is just that. You can sit in front of a speaker and play your own thoughts to yourself.
MK Ultra, you need a clone of the person to use MK Ultra on someone. Mark I original clones they made in 1945, they were called the organic robotoids, and I don't know why they called them that, because there's no robotic parts in them, unless they had like a chip in the head or in the body or something. Organic robotoids. Some of the Nuremberg guys, those Nazi guys that were killed, and you've seen their bodies after the Nuremberg trials, some of them were organic robotoids. They faked their own death, these Nazi guys, and they got away. And anyway, there's Mark III.
Oh, that's an amazing point. That's a very interesting point.
Yeah, did you ever notice that those Nuremberg guys look weird, their dead bodies with the eyes bulging out and stuff? That's one of the reasons they don't use Mark I clones anymore, is because they come out all warped looking in the face. Like, Mark IIs look basically normal, like the eye wrinkles around your eyes will look different. Like, one of the things I used to actually like to do, they used to let me do there, I'd go into the concourse and go to the bathroom at the cloning place and look in the mirror at myself, because your eye wrinkles and stuff are always different. They never come out exactly the same. In fact, they make all kinds of duplicates of you, so that when they're all done, if any of them have any warps or like malformations, they can just scrap them and throw them in the chipper. They have like a wood chipper there they throw clones into, and it's just really, really overdone. Like, growing a clone, they said costs about $30 in 5 months of time. And these things are, like, it's really advanced. And
$30.
What is this, Halloween?
they're traumatized. They're stuck there. If they ever try to talk about it, they're going to be killed. It's not good. It's, this is the heaviest stuff in the world that I'm telling you about right now. Like,
Yeah, it's pretty heavy.
And there's other aspects to this too that keeps it secret even harsher. There's part 2 of what I was going to tell you. There's a species of unknown lizard, unknown to the public. Now, I have to tell you all about this lizard because I picked them up there as a clone and everything. You can't handle them in real life because you get like something like foot and mouth disease from touching them. They're called the Vril, V-R-I-L or V-R-I-L-L. And they're from far, far underground. And people kept them secret because they've been indoctrinated into a few religions over the past few centuries. Not the past few, they were back in ancient Egypt and everything. They have all kinds of names, mimics, doppelgangers, Anunnakis, chupacabras, all kinds. They're these reptilians that people are talking about, and these shapeshift that people are talking about. But the shapeshift is not what David Icke tells you, and the reptilians are not multi-dimensional. It is this dimension. It all happens in this one dimension, and it's not mystical or magical at all. It's a biological property of their body. They can body snatch people, and the Illuminati use them to replace people that are a problem. You see, these lizards are smarter than a chimpanzee, and they're saying that this is probably the thing that's going to cause the greatest stir in human history, finding out about the parasite lizards. People have kept them secret because in the past they used to think they were magic. They didn't know what parasites were. So they would get this thing, I'll tell you all about them, how they parasite a human and everything. They have a thing on the top of their head they call a quill. It's a proboscis. It's their spinal cord with these things can eject this thing once in their life, and it goes into your eye, and the person's eye, the victim's eye, spirals around the optic nerve all the way into the brain till it gets to a certain point, and then it excretes stuff, and the cells that it excretes are parasitic, and it takes over the brain totally. There's no coming back for the human. It becomes what they call a host or a drone. The drone is a totally obedient slave, is happy to be a human now. The old lizard's body, which is like a foot to 2 feet tall, the type 1 type, is dead now. His spinal cord's out of it, no putting it back in. And it takes people over. Sometimes it causes a swelling of the eye. But they keep it pretty secret. It's what the Egyptian symbol is, with the eye of Horus, with the squiggly sticking out of the eye. That's what it is. They stick the squiggly thing into your eye and take you over. It's really bad.
I've heard you say this on another show, and this has been the hardest thing for me to accept as real, but...
Me too. I didn't believe it until I saw it. I had to see it myself there. But, and I didn't believe it. I thought it was some kind of a splice thing, because I've seen splice things too. They tried to make weapons for war out of making splice things, and the best thing they made was a spider crossed with a horse. I'll tell you about that some other time. It's not really important. It's big, but it's the best thing that they made. They made like rat scorpions, all kinds of stuff. Anything they could make, just to see if they could get medical science breakthrough or something that could tear through soldiers or something. So I've seen lots of them, and they try to pass them off as aliens to me too, and I was like, yeah, probably just a splice thing you guys have here. Like, you don't understand, they victimized me bad there. They figured that nobody would ever know about the place, so they all feel really secure in doing whatever they want there. And they can remotely kill people from there if they have a clone of you there. They can put a constant electric charge to your clone, and it will cause you to die in real life by an aneurysm or stroke with aneurysm. If they mess you up sporadically. It messes up your heart, and which is see when it's the third aspect. There's the cloning, there's the lizard parasite problem, which makes the drones, which are crazy, and then there's the dead consciousnesses recorded on microchip. Now, a bunch of billionaires years ago got together and they said, we're going to die someday. We can't buy ourselves out of it. We can start wars in different countries. We can kill people from different countries and whatever we want. But we can't keep ourselves from dying. We can't take our wealth with us. So why don't we all put our heads together? We'll throw a couple billion to 1,000 Chinese people and get them all set on cloning technology and figure out how to live forever, because I don't want to die. So they did that, and they figured it out. Only problem is the technology is flawed. It's kind of like, it's not as bad as, but it's kind of like the movie Pet Sematary, when the person comes back not the same and they're all evil and stuff. Well, what they do is they put the person's, everything that the person is, allegedly, on a microchip, and record the consciousness, and then if the person dies that day, they take that microchip, because they can re-record every night, and they take that microchip and put it into either a clone or a real person's body, which has less side effects, which is what they do, and take them over bodily, just like how the lizards do, but with a microchip. And these dead people, they don't want to get shut down, because you see, lizard drones, parasited hosts, they'd have to be killed to be wiped out. Like, you'd have to kill them bodily, like head chop off or anything. But with the dead consciousness chip heads people, you just have to press a button on them and they get deactivated. They drop limp, and they don't want to be shut down. They're scared of the hereafter and all, because they've been real bad in real life and stuff. And anyway, this is like the biggest anybody's ever talked about them, ever, because everybody's afraid.
I recently read something or heard something, I can't remember which, about the fact that they believe that they don't have to die, and so that they will never be taken to task. In other words, they'll never be called in front of the Creator to have to pay the consequences of what they've done. So,
Yeah.
so you're saying the same thing, basically.
They've said that.